Welcome back to a bit Gamey and the introduction to a new project. I've already got too many projects on the go, so this is a future one really. But I was kind of curious about the. I'm mainly doing stuff in 20mm, but I've been curious about the 15mm, and so I thought I'd pick something to be a basis for the project, to be the basis for a 15mm project. And so I decided on getting these on rapid fire 15mm Barbarossa. And I got this PDF from the rapid fire people, Russian tank units 1941, 1942. As I was just flicking through it, and there's lots of stuff about all the early war Russian formations and such. But the thing that struck me while I was looking through this was, where is it? Find it eventually. Was this. The timing and everything might be a bit whatever, but what I was intrigued by was this form of tank battalion they had soon after the beginning, because they lost a ton of stuff early in the war when the Germans broke through and stranded them, and lots of units were trashed. But say at some point, sort of soon after that kind of beginning phase, there were these. This is the rapid fire system where one tank represents 5. And their definition of battalion is slightly strange to me. But here, tank battalion, you've got a heavy tank, a heavy company, a medium company, and a light company. The heavy tank being like KV1, the medium is T34, and the light tanks could be either T60 or T26, I think, or BT7. So they got quite a variety of tanks in a small unit, or small in model scale, in terms of the number of models you need. And so what I was thinking of doing is, because I like the early war tanks, and I like to have as much variety of them as possible. I don't want platoon scale with 5 T34s, or the later sort of tank companies of T34s, so like 10 T34s. That's not my cup of tea at all. And so I looked at this model of tank battalion and sort of thought about it, because in terms of heavy tanks, the ones they had at the beginning of the war, there's like KV1s, but there's also things called T28s and T35, I think, which were like a kind of throwback to the kind of First World War tanks. This kind of idea of a land battleship. And you got these giant tanks with 10 crew and stuff like that, and they were terrible tanks, because like the same problem that the Germans had later on in the war. These are giant tanks with terrible engines and stuff, and they're forever breaking down. But if I slide over that aspect a bit, I think there's 3 types of heavy tank, and the medium tanks. So this company's got 2 T34s, but after the initial losses, a lot of the Russian stuff was Lend-Lease. So I'm thinking, the medium company could be 2 T34s, or could be like Valentine's, or even Matilda 2s. And the light tank company, which has got 3 T60s in this, an alternative would be 3 T60s, 3 T26. Or 3 BT7s. So basically, in a battalion of in what they call a battalion, you got 3 different types of tank, and you could basically do the same 3 times. So you could have your 3 battalions with a KV1, a T28 or a T35, and the medium company could be 2 T34s or Matilda 2s or Valentines, and the light company could be T60 or T26 or BT7. So that's I don't know, 9 types of tank with 18 tanks, but with 9 different types, which is just my cup of tea. So anyway, that's what's spot me off. So that's what I'm going to aiming for roughly the early part of Barbarossa, and the infantry doing it on 3 bases of 3 rather than 8 figures, and just working it out. So like they'd have 1 machine gun base and 2 infantry bases. This would have 1 anti-tank rifle base and 2 infantry bases. Blah blah blah. So that's the general gist of what I'm going to be doing for my Barbarossa. Is just do that really, just to have as many varieties of these weird early war Russian tanks as possible, and work out some kind of game system from that. But yeah, so that's all really. This is just kind of an intro for me to remind me what I'm aiming for. Anything else? No, I think that's it. Okay, and a quick addendum. There's these Zvezda 15mm Russian tanks. I think this is a T28. I'm not sure. It's T28 or T35. So it's very chunky. I think it's the one that had a 10-man crew, but I could be wrong. So that's going to be one of the heavy tank in the rapid fire early war Barbarossa battalion. Got a couple of forward turrets, I think, with machine guns, and the main gun, which I think was 47mm. Not entirely sure. But yeah, the thing is that they're pretty chunky. That's at 15mm. Just as a comparison, I've got a Panzer III as well. So the Panzer III is I don't know the way to show it, but you can see the Panzer III is a lot smaller than these. I think it's either a T28 or T35. But you can imagine the size of it if it was a 20mm or 28mm. It'd just be enormous. Too big for my table. Yeah, that's nothing really, just to show the scale of it. So that's what's going to be my Soviet, or one of my Soviet battalions. It's going to be a tank like that, and a couple of T-34s, and 3 of the light tanks. But yeah, so, I mean, it's not painted or anything yet. I've just put it together. Just an idea to give you a sense of scale. Yeah, Zvezda. They do a lot of these early war Russian stuff. I don't know. There may be others do them as well, but I say these are the ones that I saw. Yeah, okay, to it.